Okay, it looks like we're live. Oh, first office hours of the year. Let's see how this is gonna go. It is gonna be pretty tight. So, let's see. All right, so today's topic is tech and the Great Resignation. So, we've been hearing this phrase throughout this whole entire thing, and it just continued to come through constantly as things are continuing to progress in regards to quitting and employees just finding new opportunities. Hey, what's up, Mikhail? Nice to see you again. Yo, this is crazy. So yeah, like I said, we're talking about the Great Resignation and how that involves tech, and just a couple of things I just want to break up is, the one of the things one of the biggest industries that was hit by this was retailers and leisure and hospitality and all those different industries. But I also saw a lot of videos coming up throughout this year and also last year in regards to a lot of individuals just quitting their jobs because they weren't getting fulfilled or things changed up in their working style. And as of recently, a lot of people are pushing towards more remote work and more flexibility with their time because with our given profession, we can work essentially anywhere, virtually anywhere. And yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are making that switch. So I was just wondering, like, why do you think this is happening? And yeah, just have an open discussion about why that is. Hey, it's look like we're coming up on two people live on here. That's awesome. I'm loving to see it. Loving to see it. Um, well, yeah, this is completely different for me, but I got some topics coming up. I got some material that I want to discuss, but I want to see if you guys have any question in regards to this topic and what's your stance on it? Because with my stance on it is, I mean, the census just goes for itself. It's like overall, a lot of people are just leaving because of money, and that's the main reason why a lot of people are leaving. And there's other reasons as well, but money is like the major factor in this whole entire like era. And yeah, more and more people are just realizing that they can find more opportunities and find more high paying opportunities as they go to somewhere else. And that's almost like the same thing with my particular philosophy with a particular job. And my philosophy is that I try to stay with a company for at least 2 years so I can make major impact and then move on to the next company. There's multiple reasons why I want to do that, and there's multiple reasons why I do that. One of those reasons is that sometimes companies do not value um, keeping up with inflation sometimes. And if a company doesn't like give you more than what inflation is in that year, or as inflation grows throughout the year, and like recently the inflation was around like 7.4. So if you're not getting more than 7.4 raise in your salary, you're essentially losing money every single year. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people are moving in. And also, a lot of people got like laid off at the beginning of like 2021 and some 2020 as well, because a lot of things were like locked down and shut down. So yeah, that's it's just like it's just stability, and like there's no such thing as like job security. There's this phrase about like loyalty to the company and loyalty to your employer. But whenever business happens and things happen as far as the business and business getting constrained financially, the first thing to go is the working force. And it's just pretty much a matter of fact for the most part. So one of the things I always look at is, I kind of look at it like this: if a business is looking at you or looking at different opportunities in a quarter to increase their revenue, increase their profits. So why employees do not do the same thing as well? So I think that's like is a big move. That's one of the biggest things that I see now with employees. They just come into the realization, to the epiphany, that there's no such thing as company loyalty. There's no such thing as staying at a job for 10 years or 20 plus years and retiring there. So, okay. Well, yeah. Um, yeah, so that's one of the biggest things right there is loyalty is a non-factor in this job market right now. And that's it's just important thing to realize is like there's really no such thing as loyalty on either side. And right now, I think one of the biggest things that I see is employees are looking for opportunities that better fit their particular lifestyle. So ever since the beginning of this remote work from home era, and everyone's working and everything, people realize that they have more flexible time to do what they need to do, and they can also go out and do the things they need to do outside of like work and stuff. So that's a really big benefit. But then there's also on the other side that people don't really know how they can turn off their work at home. And I think that's not a big issue for me. Like whenever it hits that time for me, I'm clocked out. And if it's not a production issue or something like that, and then we can wait until the next day with this particular matter. I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with saying no in those particular type situations, but I say it in a nice way, and I get my point across, saying that if it's not a major issue, I we can definitely talk about this later. I can look at it early in the morning. Definitely willing to look at this early in the morning and tackle and resolve this issue. And so that's kind of like the con of work from remote. Some people do not know how to turn it off, and I've seen a lot of people struggle with that. And they work throughout the night, and they just realize they've been working for hours after business hours, and no one's really keeping them accountable about stopping. So you gotta really take in consideration of keeping yourself accountable and stopping. So so going back to why is this happening and everything. Um, yeah, it's just the pandemic is just putting us made a big shift in exactly what are we doing in today's era, and what is like really work. And yeah, going back to this one article that I read a long time ago, it was just saying that essentially like a lot of people are quitting their jobs, and just because of the condition of work, or being told that they have to do this, but then there's no safeguards in regards to them, in regards to protection at work for during this time. And just a lot of hostility in regards to people coming in and not following guidelines in regards to safety, in regards to health issues. So but now things have turned around where essentially businesses are rethinking how they're hiring. And I think that's like a really big thing too. So this article pretty much like goes into detail, like saying that people are paying like $50 for people to come for interviews to go to McDonald's or whatever. And that's a huge deal. And also like providing like crazy sign-on bonuses during this time. And because of like the job labor shortages and everything, pretty much employers are trying to make an attraction to employees to come through and say, hey, here's a much higher compensation range. We can do this here, and would that work for you? So this whole shift of being an employer market to an employee market where people are actually looking to find, um, like the employers are looking to find job applicants because they're going weeks without people even submitting an application to their job posts or whatever, and that's pretty much really scary in a sense for from a business standpoint, because if you can't find the talent or the resources to get through and provide value to the client, and yeah, you pretty much have no business. So yeah, but at the same time, then there's hiking, what you call it, and what you call it, supply, hiking supply. That's what I want to say. So pretty much the resources are becoming much higher in demand, and they're gonna have to charge more. So it's a continuous effect, and I'm really trying to get under a really deep understanding of like economics right now, because I'm trying to see how this whole entire economy is getting affected by all of this. And actually, I was watching a video with my wife and my family yesterday. It was talking about narrow being this invisible line that happens on this curve between unemployment and inflation. And it was just a nice correlation. And we paused the video at one moment, and this guy was just like, what is actually different during this time? And I made a prediction of what he might say in regards to how essentially narrow is usually at the 3.5 mark. I said it shifted over to the right, essentially saying that people are getting paid way more now, but at a much higher unemployment rate. And yeah, that's is a really big issue because essentially as like wages essentially goes up and unemployment is like already like at 5%. If it goes down to 3.5% at some point, employers will have to pay a high salary for people to just to come on. And it's a really big issue. So it's some kind of phrase, I don't know exactly, but I have to. That's why I'm trying to get into it. But essentially, it's a huge part of why things are getting way more expensive now. All right. Okay, we got 3 viewers on. Oh snap, this is tight. What's like? Hey, give me some love or something. Like say hi, say yo, like Mikhail. Like Mikhail did it right over here. But give me some feedback on the chat. What's going on? All right. Hey, it's okay if you can't do it. I'm not gonna cry too much at night. All right. Ah, dang, I lost my tab. Now I gotta go find it. All right. So pretty much that's what's happening right now, and it's a big shift between employees actually having the grounds on what they want right now, and employers are trying to make it more appetizing for employees to come through. So that's going to what are the benefits behind all of this? So of course I kind of like touched on it a little bit. So work from home kind of situation, and yeah, it's been a lot of things out there. I remember when this whole entire time when pretty much when the pandemic was like, let's say essentially over, not really over, but things were like opening up again. It was a lot of employees, a lot of employers were making a push of saying, hey, everyone get back in the office. We gotta hit this particular deadline at a particular percentage occupancy, and a lot of people are like, no, hi, like we've been doing great at home. Um, Actually, you said business is doing really well. Productivity has been going way high, and revenues have not synced at all. And yeah, so you have this whole benefit of working from home type situation, and pretty much employees were making a pushback, and if they didn't get exactly what they wanted, then we're like deuces. So that's where we at here now. We have this benefit of working from home, and we have other employers are providing that particular, let's say, benefit of doing that. How's it going, Mikhail? I want to add something to your discussion subject from my job experience. Give me some time. All right, cool, cool. Mikhail's gonna give us give me some essence to this. So this is gonna be pretty nice. All right, let's see what he has. All right, so let's get into it. Like, all right, so you have the work from home benefit. We have that, and then we also have the benefit of higher wages. So I kind of like spoke on that a little bit. So the whole unemployment to inflation like graph or whatever, essentially we're on this particular moment where wages are just pretty much skyrocketing in a sense. It's going to the moon. So if you're on this ride, you want to go to the moon, you can get on this ride and make that switch over to a new job and get a higher paying salary. And of course, some other benefits along the way as well. So, yes, I seen this for myself multiple times. Actually, at the very beginning of this pandemic, I made the switch to another job and got pretty much essentially a double increase in my income, a 101% increase in my income salary. So, I mean, the truth is in the pudding there. And wages are continuing to go up, and I continue to see things happening. And recruiters are not resting at all. Like, I've, I've been using this one thing, this one method of like getting jobs and everything. And I want to thank Maria. I want to say that's her name. She hit me up on one of my videos and it's like, yo, you should set up LinkedIn like right now. If you don't have like LinkedIn set up right now, essentially you're missing out on so many things. And she was absolutely right. So set up my LinkedIn, set up SEO, and my inbox has been flooded with recruiters from all walks of life, from all different companies, and even those fame companies. So I had a recruiter from Google, and I also had a recruiter from Amazon, and had a lot of recruiters from other consulting companies and stuff. It was hitting me nonstop. All right, let's add to this. So, Mikhail, this is his addition to this stream. I'm going to read it out. So some programmers think that our jobs isn't creative, but in my experience, if you had to learn on your job and work with really hard issues, you need to get passion from projects that you're working on. I completely agree. I completely agree. Like this job is super creative. Like you got to think about so many different things on how to approach a situation, and yeah, and there might be constraints there, and you might give them some, what is it? Give them some like, all right, here's some drawbacks with this particular approach, and but I thought this A approach would do it. I thought this B approach would do it, and C approach. But here are the drawbacks of A, B, and C. And you absolutely right, man. Like this job is super creative, and to be able to do what we do, you sometimes like for me, I like to draw on my whiteboard on how I would approach this product or how I approach this feature or this automation, and like there's no way I can just like sit down and just look at words, lines of words, and just try to implement it. I have to, I have to draw it out sometimes if it's a really big automation feature. All right, so you have some more here. So it was the reason why I changed to to it's the reason why I changed two programming jobs, and now I'm working on my startup. I think if you're not inspired of a company's project, it can make you feel overwhelmed and burned out. What do you think about that? No, you're absolutely right, man. If if you're building on a product that has no particular interest, or you don't see how you can make a huge impact with this particular product or feature, or it's not bringing any kind of value that you think brings to the world, it's kind of like demotivating. You just some it's almost like whenever you're doing data entry or something like that, you're just entering data, and you just continue entering data from spreadsheets or papers or whatever like that. Um, and that's just like really kind of like soul sinking. Your soul is just not really into it. Your heart is not really into it. You're just going through the motions type deal, and going through the motions is not like it's not good. You really want to have a really deep passion about what you're doing and what value it brings. And that's when you really bring out that creativity. That's what you really bring out sometimes the extra hours to put in the extra effort because you're so passionate about building what you're building. So I definitely agree on that, man. That's a nice question, man. Got to keep them coming. I love it. All right, let's see. So um, yeah. So definitely, I would say for sure, I left my last. Well, there was one project I really liked, and I wanted to work it through, but it just wasn't in my um in my how was it? It just wasn't in like my character to stay with that company where it was going, and essentially, I didn't think it was gonna grow as a company for me for my career and progress me as a software engineer. So I left, but there was one project I wasn't really passionate about, and I was a lead on this particular in this particular organization, and mainly they're just trying to get me to do a lot of maintenance and support tickets. A whole bunch of maintenance and support tickets wasn't really interesting to me, and it was mainly built by another contractor vendor, and it had a lot of issues. Um, it it just wasn't managed properly at the very beginning of building this application. So it continued to be an issue after it got transferred over to their internal team, and just wasn't passionate about maintaining those same old tickets over and over again and same issues over and over again. Um, and not get into like the root cause of what the issue is. But it was another project that I was working on, and pretty much I was building this project, architecting out this project, doing a data model of this project entirely, and I loved it, and I every single aspect I loved about it. The only thing I didn't like about it is that I was doing solution architect work, but I didn't have the solution architect like title on this particular project. They decided to go with a contractor to lead the project, and but whenever there's some kind of solution to meet the business need, it was always falling back on me to do it, but I wasn't getting the credit for doing it. And yeah, um, it was just a bad situation. I didn't want to continue to be put on the side and not get credit for the work that I was doing and the appreciation. But it was much later on down the line after I got it was just before my performance review and after my performance review that they were saying they were loving the work that I was doing because I was putting in my performance review, all the stuff I did, and they were like, "Wow, didn't really see that at all." But pretty much it was a little too late, essentially, and I just wanted to know exactly before I left um, what I could have improved on, essentially. And there's there's definitely some things I could have improved on, but from the standpoint of working with the company, is like providing suggestions on including more team members to this team to build out the application and maintain this application. I think it just fell on deaf ear. I can't talk right now. Fell on deaf ears, essentially. All right. Yeah. And the word burnout, that's a very interesting word, and I hear it a lot. So for me, burnout is not being acknowledged for the work I do, not 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 seeing the struggle that I go through and the extra mile I go through to get stuff done, get that stuff, put stuff in at a high quality effort, and yeah, and essentially it just kind of like demotivates you from like putting the extra mile sometimes. Hey, Tamara, love that you're able to move with your passions. And do you think the Great Resignation will force companies to offer more to try to retain and recruit more employees? So yeah, most definitely. I I yeah, I spoke on this earlier in the stream, but essentially, yeah, they're providing so many benefits right now. And thank you for your comment, Tamara. So yeah, they're providing so many benefits as far as wages, sign-on bonuses, opportunities to continue to grow and utilize your skill set. Like, there's so many different benefits right now that they're providing to recruit, and they're even going the extra mile of flying or paying people to interview with them. And I will say that much. And I've seen mostly this on like the like restaurant side, like with McDonald's. They're in one area of the country of U.S. They are paying people $50 to come out and just to do an interview. It's like that's pretty crazy. And so even with my old job, I was looking at like I was hearing a lot of stuff from the trucking. Uh, I was hearing a lot of things in regards to the trucking labor shortages and stuff, and I just wanted to see in my old job for trucking what they were offering. And before that, like they were offering pretty high sign-on bonuses, like for doing trucking. It was like 5,000, 8,000, or whatever. But I seen as high as 13,000, 15,000 as a solo driver for a sign-on bonus, and you can get that within a year. So that is crazy benefits for recruiting, and yeah. But as far as retaining, that's the biggest thing. Retaining employees during this time is essentially really crucial. And I say the primary ingredient from my standpoint would be essentially, let me see, let me look at this one article because it kind of like goes into what I wanted to say. So it has like three reasons why um, how employers can retain employees during the time. One is making them owners, and there's a yeah, it was definitely a video I watched a long time ago. Actually, in the last week, it was this one guy who works at a pizzeria, and essentially he's on the track of becoming like a millionaire, working at the pizzeria for over 14 years. Because essentially, what that pizza company does is that they give their employees stock into the company. So whenever he decides to retire or leave the company, he'll have stocks that essentially gives him like ownership to the company, and those stocks will kind of like, be their extra ownership to the company, and it allows them to cash out later on. And as you do well in the company, as you do continue to provide awesome profits in your region or whatever, then like you're getting the extra benefit of the profit for that company. So that was a really awesome way of retaining. I really like how that article was like doing it. How they explained that create make employees owners. And the other way, which I think is a primary way if employees can do this, or employers, I should say, is allowing them to be acknowledged for what they're doing. And this is one of the reasons why I left my last job, is because I wasn't like the whole entire almost a year and a half of working there, putting in like crazy amount of work, and just doing high quality stuff. Like I was hearing this a lot of stuff from the end user, like, "Hey, this works perfectly. Like, thank you very much. I don't know why they didn't do this when they first built the application." Kind of things all the time. So I but I didn't get that at all from higher management or anyone else. It was only after I like kept notes of everything I was doing and the high impact I was doing with the end user and the client and everything, that I put that all on my performance review. So I think it's really important for employers to like acknowledge like the efforts that their employees are doing during this time, and they should definitely fight for them and advocate for them for flexibility, work-life balance, and essentially not getting burned out during these issues. And then the last one, which is I didn't think about this after I left my job, was being able to develop your employees. So I think one of the things that I see a lot, and with a lot of tech companies, like for instance Amazon is setting up an initiative that allows their warehouse workers or lower level workers to pretty much get developed in the industry of tech. And they have an initiative of essentially, um, I think it was like over 50,000 of their workers to push them up into like higher level tech jobs. So it's an internal program, and I think that's just really great because I mean a lot of things are moving in a certain like pace as far as business, and a lot of things are becoming more automated. So as people are continuing to go through this time span of from manual labor to automation, I think it's really great that you can transfer your employees to work, like transfer them over to that particular skill set. And I'm a prime I'm a prime believer of continue to develop your skills and continue to learn new skills throughout the years. I think it's just really important aspect of pushing yourself and continue to develop yourself. And if you can have those skills constantly throughout your life, you will never kind of worry about what you're going to do in your life because you have multiple skills to fall back on. So yeah, thank you so much for that question, Tammara. I greatly appreciate you. So yeah. So yeah, that's one of the benefits and stuff. And um yeah, keeping how and the last question I really have for the stream is it's just essentially how do employers keep great talent? And yeah, it goes back into that retention thing. So acknowledgement, continue to develop and continue to learn on a job, and also increase people's wages or make them ownership of companies and stuff. Like find a way to make that happen. Yeah, most definitely. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's really great. And if employers can look at that and see that employees are looking for those type of things, they might not verbally voice it, but essentially that's what's going on during this great resignation. And back in, I think it was like 2021. Let me see if I can pull up the article. It was like the highest unemployment rate for a very long time. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna learn how to switch screens so you guys can see my screen, so I'm not just talking about stuff. But yeah, it was back in December 2021. Unemployment rate, unemployment, like there's, let's see, we're gonna remember just quit their jobs. So, um, the amount of workers that quit their jobs in 2021 during December was 10 million, 10.9 million essentially. And I think that was like roughly around like a 12 or something like that unemployment rate. It was pretty crazy high. I think it was higher than that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big push for employees to get what they want. And right now, this is an employee market during this time. And employers are going to, come to see that, or employees are going to adapt to this type of market of employees not wanting to work for companies or not want to work at all because they found something else, or they're they're doing something completely different, or they're going to business for themselves for the most part. And I've seen a lot of that too. People going to businesses for themselves and they're making it happen for them. And that's pretty awesome too if you could do that. All right, so okay, we're coming up pretty soon on the halfway mark. Still learning how to do this radio voice thing. It feels like I'm in a radio station, and I'm only gonna get better. I'm only gonna get better. I'm always gonna say that. I'm always gonna get better at doing this. It's my first, second time going live, but I remember my first video. I just was so choppy all the time, but this is a completely different experience. Yeah, I'm always trying to push myself to make better content for you guys and provide a lot of value. So yeah, hit this like button on the stream so this can be pushed out to everyone else so they can see it. And also let me know in the comments, yo, like hit the mic, do the dab like Mikhail's doing, and love the smiley faces, love the hearts, all of that. So yeah. So yeah, and I think the other question I also want to bring up is like, I mean, other than the money aspect of employees quitting their jobs, I feel like there's also emotional physiology needs and stuff like that. One thing that the pandemic taught us is that there's no such thing as job security. Like, people getting fired left and right, or getting actually not getting fired, they're getting laid off. So it's a different term in a sense. They're getting laid off because the businesses cannot keep up with holding them or like retaining them on their payroll, or they just don't want to lose the money because they feel like they won't be able to bounce back as fast during this pandemic, or they can't hold them. And sometimes that's a legit reason why. But I think sometimes you can also give the employees options on, reducing salary. Sometimes, I mean, people might take it. People might, no, that's not gonna work for me. I go somewhere else. But I think the whole layoff situation can definitely like leave people with a bitter taste. Well, And I think that's what we have. We have a really bitter taste economy right now. Employees have a really bitter taste in regards to company loyalty, and I don't know when that taste will go away. It's just gonna stay there for a while because the only thing this pandemic showed us is just seasoning up on how bitter everything is and how just like cold cut things are. So, things have turned the reverse and employees are looking for exactly what they want and that will fit their needs. And that's where we at now. So I kind of like spoken in my last live stream. Let me see if I can go find it. Um, Marslow, Marslow pyramid. I think it's called a Mars. Oh yeah, pictures. Let me see if I can find it. All right. Yeah. So I kind of like spoke on this a little bit in my last stream, but it's pretty much it's going over the Maslow pyramid. And at the very beginning of like this pyramid, at the very foundation of fitting your needs as an individual, so that you feel overall fulfilled and just feel overall well in your life, is physiology needs. So this is your air, your water, your food, your shelter, your sleep, your clothing, and reproduction, whatever that means. And then you got into the next level. You have like safety needs. So personal security, employment, resource, health, and property. Okay. Oh, we got some comments. So before, I'm gonna finish this statement real quick. So like safety needs. So like I think that's what a lot of people are like seeing right now. Like they're trying to maintain their safety and they're trying to overall figure out how can they maintain their security during this time as far as income, as far as all employment and all of that. So right now we're in like a lot of people are trying to fulfill this level of their needs to make sure that they're overall taken care of and feel overall fulfilled in life. So, health is very important part as well. If you're not taking care of your health, then you're just gonna feel crummy. And like some parts of these levels, like for instance, they don't have to be fully like met, but I think this is a really big foundational part in order to focus on other things in your life, such as love and your self-esteem and your self-realization stuff, and those are the other levels. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the comments. So Tamara says, "I love that you're able to move your passions." Oh yeah, got that one. I think if they offer severe severance packages when they lay off employees, it might make it better, a bittersweet moment. Yeah, I definitely agree on that for sure. And yeah, I would say I definitely seen some employers do that. I I haven't seen across the board, but yeah, I think it's definitely beneficial, and it shows that the employer that they cared, but they couldn't really do nothing about it. Like it does give you a bit nice sweetness to it that you can have some type of compensation and you're not just getting directly laid off bluntly with nothing to fall back on. Because I mean, the only thing this economy during this time, it just showed that a lot of people weren't prepared for this extreme economical financial impact that would bring to their pockets. So um and now they're trying to figure out how can they have multiple streams of income to secure themselves. So yeah, if the employer like gave like a severance package before they laid off a whole bunch of other people, then that just shows that all right, I can go to this company and they're gonna look out for me, and it's great to know that someone's looking out for my best needs as I'm making this transition. It's not an ideal situation, um, and people are going to hit the phrase, hey, it's just business. But it just shows that, hey, at least you cared about that much to give me a severance package, give me some kind of income to take care of my family or just take care of myself. So I definitely agree with that, Tamara and Mikhail. So, Ronald, it's time for me to leave. Have a great rest of the day, and thank you for the live stream. Of course, man. I appreciate you for coming through, man. And yeah, there's definitely be more topics like this. In a next month. Well, not next month. Next week Monday. So I'm gonna try to do this for, four times about this month. See how it goes for me. Continue to develop my radio voice and continue to develop my fluency during this time of continue to talk and reading the comments. So I definitely appreciate you very much, Mikhail. Thank you for, bringing so much value to this live stream. I really appreciate your questions and your feedback. And have a great day. So yeah. Wonder how can I like stuff? Can I like comments? Okay, cool. I can't like comments. Um, hey, I just like them on the live stream. I just say I like them. All right. So, yeah, looks like we're coming pretty close to ending this, but yeah, just to finalize everything, just kind of conclude everything. So, yeah, during this whole entire time of the Great Resignation, the tech, and why a lot of people even quitting their tech jobs during the time is because of those things. You know, they're trying to make sure they're, well taken care of. They're taking care of their health, and they want the employers to make sure they're taking care of their health as well. And also, there's just overall safety needs from, income and all that stuff because that essentially is going to take care of the bottom layer of the Maslow pyramid is, your physiology needs, be able to take care of getting your water, getting your food, getting your shelter. And it's going to, give you an overall better sleep at the end of the night that you have some type of income coming in and that your employers are, taking care of you at the end of the day when you're working for them because we are working out here, trying to do the best things that we can possibly do to, increase the profit for this business. And in return, we get income from the employer. So it's definitely a two-way street in this particular economy. And I think a lot of things are making the, best change overall, for the best moving forward. So I'm really, really glad with what's going on. And a lot of people coming to the realization of what they really want from a job and what they really need. Okay, we have another question from Tammara. Can you give your thoughts on the future of tech and the impact of the Great Resignation? Most definitely. So yeah, and yeah, it's pretty much what I was getting to. So like we've seen this with a lot of companies like Salesforce. Salesforce has said they're mostly indefinitely gonna stick to a remote work environment. So they're so confident that they can increase their profits and revenues and have essentially 100% of their workforce work from home and still provide value to their customers. It's like it's big. It's really big. There's rarely some industries that can, do that, but this huge tech giant is saying that they can essentially provide remote work for all their employees. They can flex their times. They can get their, as long as they're getting their work done. That's all we really care about because we care about our customers. We care about providing value at the end of the day. And wherever we can do to make our employees happy, that will in turn make our customers happy. We all for it. So I see this happening, essentially, for a lot of companies. Like Google was at the very beginning when it starts to open up. They're saying that they didn't want to do like fully remote. Um, it it was actually pretty funny, but they made it sure it's like not remote or in office on their job postings and stuff. But now the CEO has changed their mind on their stance on that, and now they're looking at more hybrid, so more of a hybrid type situation from in office and work from home. So yeah, I mean, and there's a whole ideology behind that, saying that people feed off from each other's energy when you're working in an office, but sometimes some people don't like that type of situation. They don't really feed off of other people's energy, and usually those the people who feed off other people's energies in a working environment are usually extroverted type personalities. Introverted personalities, I mean, they go about it in a different type of way. So, um, yeah, we have a workforce that is a fusion, a merge, or a melting pot of all these different personalities, and I think we should look at that. We should look at those people who say they can work inside the office, and maybe there should be some kind of case study that, hey, let these introverts work remote, let these extroverts work in the office, and see what that actually does. Who's going to provide the most value on these projects? Who's going to provide the most value to these customers? Like that would be a very interesting case study to see. So yeah, I definitely see the future of tech um, moving in the better. That was it. Moving in the right direction in regards to that. As far as benefits and stuff, the tech industry overall was already great. But given these particular scenario, this particular situation with the pandemic, it's just got even better for for tech employees. And I'll say if you're not getting into tech right now, maybe it's not something for you, but I think it's a really great opportunity right now to get into tech and figure out how you can get your toes wet into coding or doing something tech related, because overall you're gonna have really great benefits in the long run if you get into tech and um, be able to provide for your family in so many different ways. Because with this skill set, you can use it on your own. You don't have to use this skill with a company. There's been so many different people out there who use this skill to provide value to other people, and they scale it up, and essentially they became millionaires and billionaires. All right, we have Faj. Okay. Um, Room today. I see you, man. Boom, boom. I see you. Don't know what today means, but hey, thank you for joining this live stream. I appreciate everyone who's coming through, stopping by to listen to the discussion and be part of the discussion. That's all this is about. Always want to hear other people's opinion on this and what what they think about this particular topic. And there's definitely gonna be more coming, Fosh, in regards to other topics that will be happening in the office hours, and these going to be for every Monday in March so far. I'm going to see how this plays out, but I'm going to try to be very punctual and continue to do this every single Monday in March. All right, so hey, I don't know. Maybe I really like stopping at 5:55 on my live streams. That's probably something I'm gonna love to do now. But it looks like we're coming up on an hour. Going to stop at 4:55, and let's see. I can answer one more questions. I know I have a little lag in this live stream. I'm going to answer one more question. If you have one more question, let's see. So yeah, just to finish out this Maslow pyramid. So, the bottom one's physiology needs, safety needs, and the safety needs go over, security, employment, resource, health, property, and stuff. Then you have your love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. And then above that layer is the esteem. You have your respect, um, safe, self esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And then above that layer, at the very top of the pyramid, self actualization. So, desire to become the most one can be. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna answer your question, Tammara. You have the questions for the days. Thank you for coming through. Love it. Do you think the Great Resignation will end? Hmm. Do I think it will end? That is a great question. I think it's the new norm. I think it's the new norm. People are realizing that they don't have to stay at a job long term, and yeah, they don't have to stay at a job long term. They can go to another job where they can get what they want or fit their needs of what they want. So, and I think some of the effects of the Great Resignation comes in with the baby boomers becoming retired during this time as well. So some of those numbers might be baby boomers, but I think there's a little bit more to that as well. So we also have the newer generation that's coming up, and pretty much they're just seeing how the economy is and what they ultimately want. So a lot of people might say they're spoiled. The baby boomers might say they're spoiled, but I mean they just know exactly what they want. Each generation has their own overall mentality, their own overall um, path that they want to bring value to this country or bring value to the world. So one of the things they realize is that they don't have to stay at a job. There's no such thing as a pension anymore. 401k is only probably one pillar of your financial retirement. It shouldn't be your overall financial retirement. There's other ways you can, save your money to do other things to invest for retirement. So I think the great resignation is the new norm. I think people just gonna realize that they can go to another job and increase their salary significantly or get the benefits that they ultimately want that gives them the work life balance that they ultimately want. And yeah, that's a great thing to have in a sense. Like people knowing exactly what they want. Um, Businesses might not think that's a great thing because they want to keep that talent there as much as possible. So I think that's going to change too. Is that employers are going to continue to figure out how they can retain their top talent, and if they can retain the top talent overall, then that'll be the bottom line of what their revenues is getting affected by is keeping the top talent as much as possible. So yeah, I don't think it will ever end. I think it's just a new norm. Um, and people just gonna switch jobs more often. That's what I think. And I definitely appreciate your comment. It looks like we're on at the end of this hour. Thank you for your last comment, Tamara. You are greatly appreciated. Thank you for coming through. Thank you everyone who came through, asked questions. I very much appreciate it. Until next time, peace.